Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director for New Shelves Books, and this is Free Advice Friday. The time every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we get together to talk about book stuff, book publishing, marketing, and answer your questions live. You can always join us at freeadvicefridays.com, or you can send in questions early through questions@freeadvicefridays.com. And without any more further ado, let's get started. A question that I received from our good friend Keri was about the new Ingram Spark agreement. I'm sure that if you use Ingram Spark and you've logged in anytime recently, you have gotten this pop-up from Ingram Spark saying that if you would like to continue using Ingram Spark services, that you must sign their updated agreement. And Keri was feeling a little bit overwhelmed because this agreement is like 26 pages long, and it can feel kind of overwhelming, right? But guys, they have it up on their website where they go over the agreement and they kind of summarize it for you. And I am, number one, I'm going to drop this link right into our chat box, but then I am going to share my screen so that we can go and look at that update. Well, it would help if I sent it to everybody instead of just myself, huh? There we go. All right. And so we're going to just go look at this agreement together. I've got it pulled up online. So we're going to go live here. All right. Can you guys see my screen? I'm right on the Ingram Spark website. Let me know. All right, good. So this is just a brief summary of what's going on with Ingram Spark. And let's break it down. Combined agreements. Ingram Spark is now combining their ebook and their global print agreements. Much of the agreements have stayed the same. It's just one combined agreement. It used to be separate agreements. So that's the first part. Now, of course, if you read this in the contract, it's like, 20 pages long. This is a summary. Updates to Ingram Spark's Amazon and Apple agreements. So while there are combined agreements, we know that Amazon and Apple tend to be special players in the game. And so in that, they have separate special agreements. Most of us are, so let's lay this out also. Most of us are not using Ingram Spark to get onto Amazon. We're using KDP. But if you are, you have a hardcover or something like that, it is updating. And this happens pretty often. Apple is only if you are distributing ebooks through Ingram Spark. Again, I don't recommend that. I personally like to use draft2digital.com for my ebook distribution. However, if you are using Ingram Spark, they're updating the terms for that. Nothing huge is really changing, but they are separate and they are updating, so you should glance through those. Ebook payments. It is now happening that 85% of net revenue to publishers is coming directly to the publisher. Even if, no matter who it is, it's just 85% across the board. You're trying to simplify. This is good stuff. And then new ebook channels. They're getting you into new ebook channels with their agreement if you do distribute through Ingram Spark. That's the summary. I know it's a lot of pages. I know it's a lot to kind of look over and it can feel overwhelming, but that's the summary of what all the changes are. I am not a lawyer. I cannot legally advise you whether or not you should sign the new agreement, but I will say that New Shelves personally was comfortable signing it, and so we did. And also that if you don't sign it, you don't get to use the Ingram Spark platform. So that's your decision for sure, but you should know that you do have to sign this by, I believe it's January 27th. And I did post the link right over to our chat group so that you can see and read it in more detail if you'd like. Hopefully that helps break it down just a little bit so it's not so overwhelming and scary, because I know when you look at this huge agreement, it can kind of be like, oh my gosh, what am I signing? Am I giving away my firstborn? And so I get it. Let's see. We've got some questions coming in, so let's see. If self-publishing a children's picture book or chapter book, what reviews, paid or free, would you recommend an author seek? So, Pat, the question about reviews, I always recommend that we go to our main list. And the main list is going to include Publishers Weekly through Book Life. It's going to include, for children's books, School Library Journal. I recommend that you pitch Kirkus. Most of these are free. They do have paid options for some of them, but they are free to submit. So I think that you should. And I've got an entire list. I happen to have a professional reviewer list that you can download from our website for free. So I'll drop that in the chat box as well, because it's got links and everything like that, so that can help you out. Now, beyond that, you may consider a blog tour. You may, children's book reviews, really great for blog tours. You may consider a Mom's Choice Award and submitting for that. And that's kind of what I do. I'd stick to the professionals and the big names. If you're not sure if it's something that you haven't heard much about, I wouldn't be paying for it. You can still ask people to review your book. You can ask them if they would review it on their blog or what have you, but I wouldn't be paying money for it. Simply ask if they will and see where that takes you. Let me see. What is your opinion of Amazon ebook sponsored ads? How can they be most effective? I am a big fan of ads on Amazon, and the reason why is because we have people browsing on Amazon ready to spend money, and it's a great opportunity with our linked books to get sales out there. I've been working with and talking a lot about Brian Cohen's Amazon ad challenge, which I mean, he does amazing stuff. He's a really great teacher. And he does these ad challenges that are free, like every 6 months. And then he also has Amazon Ad School. Highly, highly recommend if you are looking to get into Amazon ads. And I will say I have a book that we just launched the beginning of this year. It's a debt book, and it's called Debt Relief, or Debt Free ASAP by John Nicholas. You can go check it out. There's your plug, John. And I have seen that out of the sales that we have gotten just in 3 weeks, he's gotten over 100 sales. Actually, it's been like 2 weeks. Over 100 sales in like 2 weeks. And I would say 75% of those were directly tied and correlated to Amazon ads. And that was for his ebook only. So absolutely, I think that they sell books, and you can run ads and you can see the data and actually see if your ads are working. But if you want your book to be bought, it has to be seen. And Amazon ads is one of the best ways to get your books actually seen. So I can't recommend Amazon ads highly enough, at least to try them. I think that you need to try them to see if they work for you, to see if you can get the cost down and your sales up, and then try them out and see what happens. All right. Yes, we have lots of nice snow. It is really pretty. We're supposed to get like 8 inches today, which is good because we're, well, I'm not. The rest of my family is going skiing this weekend, so they are excited for all the snow. I am still recovering from the last time I went skiing when I fell. Let's see. Where can I find the list of distribution channels on Ingram Spark? Where on Ingram Spark? It's right on their website. Let's see. Ingram Spark. So number one, it's on their website for all things, but it's under this link where it actually talks about specifically about your ebooks. And it's got all your information right here. So for the most part, Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and it's got a list of online retailers and distribution channels. 24 Symbols, Amazon, Apple, Bookmate, Booktopia, ebooks.com, lots and lots of places. So let me drop this link in for you. And this is right on the Ingram Spark website. There we go. And you can find the same list for hardcover. If you're looking for paperback distribution, it's also right on the website. So Ingram Spark's website does have kind of more, they have more tabs than a lot of pages. So I know that it can kind of get a little tricky to get around in there, but they do have a list of where they distribute to. Here we go. Here's the other list. So this is at ingramspark.com/howitworks/distribute. So I'm going to drop that in. And the biggest one that we mostly look at is that we are looking at the fact that Ingram Spark gets us into Ingram Wholesale. And bookstores and libraries can both order from Ingram Wholesale, which is a big deal. That's most of the time why we are using Ingram Spark, unless you're trying to use Ingram Spark to distribute directly over to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. But there are lists on their website. Always, the search feature is the best way to find anything, because I know they've got great content on their website, and it can be hard to find things. Ooh, good question there, Randy. What's your favorite way to launch a book in this new virtual world? Virtual events can work. If you have something to say, if you have other people to talk to, a virtual Facebook party or TikTok, I don't know what people do. But if you're doing something like that, think 15, 30 minutes. And I think to make a really successful virtual event, it takes more than one person. I don't care if you get your kids on board, get your dog, get a friend, get someone else on virtual. You need someone to play off and interact on. If it's just you in front of a camera, it is a lot. So I will say it's a lot of work, because I do it every Friday, but also you guys are amazing and give me so much feedback and talk. But it is a lot harder to carry on a conversation with yourself than if you have someone that you know will be prompting you and talking. Plan giveaways, plan different things to draw people in. And I think that if you do that, again, you kind of have to plan in advance. You have to think of when people are most likely to be available. I've seen some really cool stuff where people did it themed, where they did like interview questions, where they, I've seen if it's fiction book, people have different people play different parts, different characters. So you can get really creative. But if you are doing something like a Facebook Live, it usually doesn't get much lift until 10 to 15 minutes in. So plan to be there for a little while. Also, start with a low ebook price. Put it out there. Try different, but things like the Fussy Librarian. Try different places to get your book out at a discount can be really smart. And then I think you just have to get on there and do your digital sales, social media, Amazon ads. People are online. That's where we've got to sell to them. And so you have to have a strong online plan, no matter what that looks like for your book specifically. People who were previously kind of planning on, well, I'm going to have a book signing where people come and buy my book, that's not working so much anymore. But you could do a pre-sale and then have everyone kind of come to the Facebook Live for something, have different people read different parts of it or something like that. So creativity, enlist some help from friends if you plan to do any type of video, and make sure you're pushing those online sales hard. All right. I am seeing some questions in the chat box, but you guys, I'm getting a lot of chats. Actually, you guys don't see all of them, so they're scrolling. So if you can, drop your questions in the Q&A box, because I'm afraid I will not see them by the time I can check them over. All right. I recently read an article about Goodreads ransom review scams. It seems people are posting one-star reviews on books and contacting the author and saying they'll take the reviews down if the author pays them to. Does this change your Goodreads strategy at all? Ugh, people. No, I think Goodreads is still fine. You know what? That may happen. People can actually do that on Amazon. You can ask that a review be looked at. I would be taking screenshots and I would be sending it into Goodreads and asking for them to investigate the account. Um, um, I would, we don't negotiate with terrorists, you guys. I would just ignore them, go get it turned in. There are actually, not only are there folks who run the Goodreads site, but there are a lot of people who have librarian accounts who can review things and look at things. If it's just a hate review and you literally have a message from them saying that they want to be paid for something, no, just report it, see what you can do. Um, I'd be that jerk probably who screenshotted what they said and posted it as a reply under their review. Not saying that's the best option. I can be a little trigger happy, but I think Goodreads is still a great spot. And people can put your book up whether or not you want them to, whether or not you have a profile. They can put your book up and they can start reviewing it regardless. So it doesn't really change my strategy as far as using it and being a part of the community there. But man, people are ridiculous. All right. Yeah, this is a writing question. Can you use real agency names in your thriller? NSA, FBI, CIA, or is it best to make up titles? People do it all the time, Caroline, where they're using big agency names. So I think it's fine. Again, I am not a lawyer. If you really want to ask some deep questions, go ask a lawyer. But people do it all the time. What you need is a disclaimer in the beginning of your book that your book is fiction, that events are made up, and you know any similarities or coincidence, blah blah blah. Can you also make up things? Can you also make up um, the CSA or something like that? Absolutely, you can. But you can also use general, you know, the Rochester Police Department, something like that. You can do that as well. Just again, make sure that you put your disclaimer in there. And if you have deeper questions, go ask a lawyer for sure if you're afraid or concerned that that might be a problem. All right. And don't forget, if you miss something, if you are taking notes and you miss something or anything like that, you guys remember we have a replay that goes up. It goes up on our site, freeadvicefridays.com. We also have them go up on YouTube, which is youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. So you can always catch a replay, and I have dropped quite a few links in the chat today with links to the professional reviewers and the Ingram Spark Agreement and things like that. Yes, always a disclaimer. I think it's always a smart idea. Okay, what's the best way to leverage a BookBub deal? I like this one because I actually had a client who had a BookBub deal yesterday. Dan Flanagan is an awesome crime noir thriller author who just had a BookBub deal yesterday. Yay, Dan! He hit #1 in Amazon categories like crazy. He got up to, I think, 65 for all of Kindle books. So, yay, Dan! Congratulations. But we did this really strategically. We pitched and got a BookBub deal for his second book in the series. And what we did is when we discounted his second book and we promoted that through BookBub, which we got a feature deal for the US and international, which is a huge audience and an awesome opportunity. But what we did is we also discounted the first book. While his second book could be a standalone, we knew that a lot of people would want that first book as well. And we also wanted to capture people's email addresses so that we could go on and hopefully get their contact information to be able to tell them about his third book when it comes out. So what we did was we discounted the first book along with the second book. We ran BookBub ads on the first book. So we're getting people over to his pages, his sales pages, through BookBub ads for the first book, through the BookBub deal for the second book. And you can also bolster it with some social media ads. You may consider doing some other discount promo newsletters kind of spaced out, maybe a day or two after. Some of those people tend to kind of end up on a lot of lists, not just BookBub or not just a fussy librarian, but if it's a cheap cost and you can do that and keep your ranking high for a long time, it can be really smart. But I think the big thing is hit your BookBub. If you've got other titles, especially if it's in the same series, push those out in BookBub ads so you can get more people who are looking for discount books over to your pages, because now you can link series on Amazon. And also make sure that you're telling people about it. And finally, I always encourage, when you know you have a BookBub deal coming up, make sure in the back of your ebook there is a link that leads to a freebie or something where you encourage people to give you their email address in exchange for this freebie or to keep in touch, whatever it is. Generally, we kind of bribe them a little bit with free ebook or something. But collect those email addresses, because what can happen then after those email addresses is you can collect them and then tell them about your other books. You can email them when your third book comes out, or if you have a different series. And also in the back of the book, I always encourage my authors to have a personal note from them to the reader that says, thank you for reading my book. Thank you for supporting me. And it would mean the world to me if you leave a review. I really think it makes a difference. If people read through and they kind of get that, they are more likely to read a review, because not everyone thinks of it, but when you're specifically asking them and you're saying it means a lot to me, a lot of people do. Lots of good people out in the world who will go do that, but they don't think of it on their own necessarily. So I love BookBub. I think it's awesome. I think now the big publishing agencies have really started to pick up on ebook sales and digital sales, since we're not selling as many paperbacks. People aren't browsing stores as much, so it can be harder to push ebook sales sometimes. But BookBub is a great way to do that. Make sure that before you have a BookBub deal, your website is in order. People will go visit it. Make sure that your listings on your book sites, check your marketing copy, check your HTML. Make sure that what you have is a pretty listing that will get people in. Once they click over to your book, are they going to buy? Make sure that you're really creating that environment for them. I would also say make sure that you have your author central claimed and that you've updated that, and that, again, you're leading people to your website. It's really making sure that you have cohesively done everything you can to appeal to your reader. And if you do that, I've seen some great success, especially this year with BookBub deals. So absolutely. That's great. David just created his BookBub profile. And don't forget that BookBub actually allows you to review books as well. And if you do that occasionally, they can see that activity when you go to pitch your own book. And they like to support people who support the BookBub community. So it can be really smart to kind of review books on BookBub too. I know quite a few authors who are bigger names. And rather than Goodreads, they tend to review things on BookBub. So that's another idea for you too. If you're a little leery of Goodreads, you can kind of start moving your reviews and your active stuff over to BookBub a little bit. All right. What are the risks of listing on KDP and not checking expanded distribution? Does that mean that KDP cannot sell to Ingram? Yes, if you do not click expanded distribution on KDP, that means that they don't expand their distribution outside of Amazon. That means your book goes up on Amazon only. KDP will not sell your book to Ingram Spark or upload it to Ingram Spark to get into Ingram wholesale. Now, if you're doing expanded distribution through KDP, you have to take their free ISBN, which I don't recommend. I recommend you go get your own ISBN from Bowker at myidentifiers.com. But yes, it does mean that you won't be in Ingram. Now, if you've already taken the free KDP ISBN and you would like to get into Ingram Wholesale for, let's say, libraries, you can click that expanded distribution, and KDP will then take your book and upload it to Ingram Spark to get you into Ingram Wholesale. So rather than you doing it, they're doing it, but then they take a cut and they also have more control. What is the relationship between Ingram and Amazon? How do you get onto Amazon if you're listed on Ingram Spark? Well, just as KDP allows for expanded distribution over to Ingram Spark will get your book over to Amazon if you'd like them to, meaning that if you approve your book for Ingram Spark on print, they can send it over to Amazon just like they do barnesandnoble.com, and they can sell it through Amazon or through third parties on Amazon. You are making the discounted price. So if you have a wholesale discount on Ingram Spark of 55% set up, that is what it's selling to Amazon for, which is why I always recommend that you upload your book, if it's paperback or ebook, directly to KDP, because you will make more profit on your Amazon sales than going through Ingram Spark. You have more control. And there are some perks like Amazon advertising, and you get more support if you have problems with your pages on Amazon. So they are competitors, but even competitors work together. So they can work back and forth. It's not always seamless. It's not always pretty, but they do work back and forth because that's how the market works. So hopefully that answered the question there. Let's see. Sorry, you guys, I got a lot of questions all at once. Oh, thank you, Tara. I do have that email, but it's so much easier when you put it in the Q&A. Let's see. All right. So Tara's saying, I submitted a book to the Library of Congress to fulfill LCCN requirements in January 2020. Yet it is still not showing up in the WorldCat system. Should I resend it? Or is there a way I can tell whether the Library of Congress still has it somewhere? So let's talk Library of Congress. Library of Congress only works if you are a publisher that has more than 10 titles with 3 different authors. So a lot of self-published authors or indie authors don't actually have access to the Library of Congress direct application. In that case, that's when we usually say, hey, go get a PCIP block, and that, will get you the cataloging information at least. But Tara, as we know, is a publisher. So Tara definitely can get that Library of Congress number. She can apply directly. And so Tara, what I would say, number one is the Library of Congress is super backed up. They are, I'm hearing 4 to 6 months behind in getting things done just with the world today. So they are absolutely backed up. However, it's also important to note that when you submit to the Library of Congress, if you've already gotten your Library of Congress number, if you've gotten your LCCN and you've gotten the number from them, but they're not cataloging it, they don't have to. They catalog a huge number of books. However, they are not required to put your book in their catalog. It is a curated list. So if you've gotten your Library of Congress control number, you've gotten that, but it's not being cataloged, I would say they probably have just decided not to catalog that book. Now, if you haven't gotten your LCCN, but you have gotten that and it's not cataloged, I would follow up. But if it's just not cataloged, they may have just decided not to put it in their catalog. And again, it's curated, so they can do that. Let's see. Did Dan publish via Kindle Select or did he go wide? I assume, Randy, that you are talking about Dan Flanagan, who got that BookBub deal. And Dan went wide. We used Draft Digital. And I will say most of the time when pitching BookBub, they like to see your books go wide. So I usually recommend, if you're on Kindle Select, maybe try it. try it. A lot of people have success there. And if you are trying for a BookBub, move over to, broad distribution. I have gotten BookBub deals with Kindle Select. However, they tend to be either free BookBub deals where we're giving the book away for free, or they tend to be internationally, which is smaller audience than if you get the US as well. BookBub really likes to reach as much of their audience as possible, and I am always surprised by how many sales we get outside of Amazon channels with a BookBub deal. Since we already talked about Dan's book, The Big Tilt, actually sold so many copies outside of Amazon that he made the 22 bestseller list for Barnes & Noble Nook. So they've got a big audience that is buying outside of Amazon, especially their international audience, and they do, in my experience, tend to look for that broader range of distribution. Let's see. Yeah, as far as a paid ISBN, there are a lot of companies that will offer you a free ISBN. I always go, free, because it's free, but then they retain control. I always recommend that you go straight to Bowker, myidentifiers.com, and you buy your own ISBNs. You can buy a single ISBN, but in most cases, it makes more sense to buy a pack of 10, which is around $300. Because when you are getting your ISBNs, you'll need one for your paperback, one for your ebook. If you have a hardcover, you will need a third. And if you have an audio, you'll need a fourth. So potentially up to 4 ISBNs for a single title. If you are taking a free ISBN, then they have control. They get to decide if where you can be uploaded, when and where, and they just have more control. And what you don't want to do is take multiple ISBNs and double dip. So I know it's very tempting to take the free ISBN from KDP so that you can get right onto Amazon, but then take the free ISBN from Ingram Spark so that you can get into Ingram Spark. But then what happens is your paperback has multiple ISBNs for the same book in the same format. Not cool, not good. Someone recently, as we were talking about ISBNs, he said, is it kind of like a social security number? Not like, yes, it's like your book's social security number. You only want your book to have one ISBN, one social security number, no matter where it goes, because that makes it easy to find. And that is how people will search the book. So you don't want to take different ISBNs from different places. Especially because then it gets messy and it's not totally legit either. Your paperback should have one ISBN if it's the same book, the same format and edition and all of that. So myidentifiers.com, you go buy your own ISBNs, is always my recommendation. Thank you, David. Yes, myidentifiers.com. All right, let's see. What is the deal with Kindle Select? It sounds limiting. It can be. Kindle Select is where you agree to take your ebook exclusive with Amazon. That means that you can't put your ebook up anywhere else, but your ebook is up exclusively on Amazon, and it goes into their Kindle Unlimited program. So the cons are that you are only at Amazon. Your ebook cannot be on Overdrive. It's not going to make it over to Apple or Kobo or different places. So that sounds really negative, but you guys, in 2019, I don't have stats for 2020 yet, but in 2019, 91% of ebooks were consumed directly on Amazon. That's a huge chunk of the market. And for categories that have voracious readers, our mystery readers, our romance readers, fantasy fiction, they tend to have subscriptions to Kindle Unlimited, which means that they're reading Kindle Unlimited books. Because if I'm reading a book a day or a book every 2 days, which I used to do, I mean, for, gosh, probably from the time I was 10 until I was 30, let's say, I was reading a book every day, a book every 2 days. That gets really pricey if you're paying $4.99 per book. But if I go into the Kindle Unlimited program, I'm paying $9.99 for an entire month of reading as many books as I can consume through Kindle Unlimited. The author gets paid by the page read, so you still do get paid. You just get paid a little bit less than if it was an all-out sale. But you have this bank of readers looking for books who are more likely to take a chance on a new author if they're not paying outright. If they're on the Kindle Unlimited program, they can download your book and it doesn't cost them a thing. If they don't like it and they're 20 pages in, they return it. Didn't cost them anything. So people are a little bit more likely to be adventurous and try new authors on Kindle Unlimited. So there are some benefits, and your ebook is still available for outright sale on Amazon. So let's say I do not have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. I can still buy your book for $4.99. But if I do have a Kindle Unlimited subscription and your book's in the Kindle Select program, I can read it for free. So there are definitely pros and cons. I usually say if your book is something that people will either read slowly, or it's more of like a how-to or something like that, Kindle Select may not be the best. If it's a memoir, nonfiction business book, you usually can go broad and get more sales that way, more opportunities. So it's really strategic, and you have to know what works best for you. And sometimes you have to try stuff out and see if it works and see if it doesn't work. I've seen that again and again, and I always say you don't know if it works if you don't try it. Pat, so you guys, we have recently been doing some giveaways through our mailing list. If you're not signed up, go to newshelves.com and you can sign up for a mailing list. We do a weekly newsletter with industry news and all that kind of stuff. And Pat, if you are the winner, I would have emailed you, so definitely check your spam. We've been having problem, especially with people who use Mac computers, so check your spam for sure. And you were listed in one of our most recent mailings, so you can check that as well. And if you guys like these giveaways and you want more, let me know, and let me know if that's fun for you. I want to be like Oprah. You get a mailing and you get this and you get ad school. Oprah was my favorite growing up. I loved her favorite thing. Her favorite thing episodes were just the best. I want to be Oprah when I grow up. All right. When is it a good idea to do the 3-month Kindle Unlimited offer? I usually say when you first start out is the easiest time. When you're first going into it, try Kindle Unlimited. For 90 days, it can be a good way to kind of start getting your reviews up and things like that, and see if you're getting sales, if you're getting read through, if you're making money. If so, you may want to stick to it. If not, you can stop and go broad. It's a 3-month program. You can opt out after 90 days, or you can keep renewing for 90-day periods. Scott is asking, how likely are MG, which I think stands for middle grade readers, to have Kindle Unlimited accounts? More than you might think, actually. More and more kids are getting Fire tablets, and they have different access through Amazon can like connect families and give them access to Kindle Unlimited and things like that. So it's possible. I don't think that's your biggest market. I would say middle grade and below for reading levels, you will absolutely get more books or more sales from your print books, actually. Most of them will not be reading as many ebooks. Middle grade is when they start to move into that a little bit more. But I will say they're a lot more likely, in my opinion, they're a lot more likely to have Kindle Unlimited accounts and access than they are to have, let's say, a Nook or iBooks or different things like that. So take that as it is. And also, if their parents have Kindle Unlimited, because sometimes what I do with my daughter is if she wants a book, I will go look it up. And if it's on Kindle Unlimited, I will get it to read and scan through before she gets it. So sometimes that's the kind of readership you're getting on Kindle Unlimited for middle grade. All right. What app do you use for giveaways? I've just started one with UpViral. Was trying to use King Sumo, but found it way too complicated. Caroline, I mostly use Rafflecopter. And sometimes like for our newsletter giveaway, it was actually based on simply anyone who opened the newsletter was entered to win a freebie, and I actually can track that in my mailing system. So there are lots of different ways to do it, either through there. I use random.org to randomly pull a winner, but Rafflecopter is a good one that I've used for the type of giveaway I think you're talking about. Is there a way to delete previous ISBNs when you do a new edition of your book, or does it happen automatically? Well, an ISBN never quite goes away. When you do a new edition of your book, you stop production on the first edition, and then you assign a new ISBN for the second edition. The old ISBN never truly goes away, and neither does your old book. It kind of lives in infamy. So I'm not quite sure if I answered the question or but you do have to click unpublished. If you're using KDP, you have to click the unpublished button for the old edition and then upload the new edition. But there's no deleting a previous ISBN. Once it's out there, it's out there. So let's see. Yes, so if I already have an ISBN on my self-published book, do I need to do a second edition in order to get my own number? Yes. If you took a free ISBN from KDP on your first edition book and you would now like to publish under your own publishing name with your own ISBN, you will need to do a second edition. That does not mean you have to totally change the book. That means you need to unpublish the first book. You need to get your own ISBN, update your copyright page. If you have changes you want to make them, and then you put your second edition out. A second edition does not mean that it's a revised edition. That would be a second updated or revised edition. That's if you're adding content, taking content away. If you're essentially doing the same book, just changing some of the details out, it's just a second edition. And if you are looking to have more control to make more money and to be able to upload more places on your own, that's when you consider doing that second edition with your own ISBN. All right. Okay, new to working with BookBub, so it's competitive on what books they will take. Yes, Joni, they only take probably 10% of book submissions that they get. They get thousands, literally thousands of book submissions for featured deals to go out to their list every month, and they only take about 10%. They are looking for, does the cover appeal? Is the book current and something that people are reading? They are looking for reviews. They are looking to see if the author is actively promoting themselves. So it is competitive. And you suggest the pricing. You tell them what your price is originally, and then you tell them how low you're willing to go. Best chances are at free, 99 cents, and $1.99. Anything above that's really hard to get. They like it $1.99 or lower. All right. Whew. Look at you guys. You've got lots of questions today. Let's see. Yeah, so if you're looking to update the price of your book, you need to go into your sales channels and your distribution channels like KDP and Ingram Spark, and you need to update the price of your book. You also, if you have price barcode, which you should, especially for Ingram Spark, you need to update your barcode with the new price. And then you just wait for those changes to take effect. And if you are looking to change the price barcode on your book and you don't want to go back to your cover designer, you just want to create a new barcode, I have done a YouTube video that walks you through how to do that, which is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. Let me see if I can find that for you somewhere. Here we go. Let me get this URL for you guys and I will drop it in the chat. All right. That is a YouTube channel on how to update your priced barcode. Takes about 10 minutes if you're willing to do it yourself, or if you're ready to kind of try out a little bit. You can make that happen and it's free. So save yourself some money. You can also go buy a priced barcode, but they tend to be $25, $50. And of course, if you're going to your cover designer for updates, it's whatever they charge. So there we go. All right. And right now we've got about 10 minutes, a little less than 10 minutes left. And what I would like to do is our great friend Wendy has graciously agreed to allow us to upload her book to Draft to Digital. We had some questions come in about how to upload a book and is it super scary? And the answer is no. It's not super scary at all to upload your book to Draft to Digital. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm just going to make sure that I've got everything here and I'm not, let's see. Oops. My screen's a mess. I am totally one of those people who has way too many things up at any given time. Too many tabs open. Let's see. All right. So one of the things I do is if my book's already up on Amazon and I want it to be up on Draft to Digital, I always look for my listing on Amazon first so I can make sure that everything matches. That makes it nice and easy. So give me a second. I know you can't see anything yet. Welcome to my mess where I'm not super organized. But I like to show you guys stuff, so I must get points for that. All right. Just got to pull my details here because we had done that yesterday. Sorry, guys. I thought I was so organized and I'm not. It's Friday though, so that's good. Here we go. That's why I couldn't find it. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you guys again. 100 points. Yay. That's what I said. I'm such a mess. You just have to love me. Love me through it, you guys. All right, let's share. Let's share our screen here. All right. We are on. I love it. Thanks for all the love in the chat. All right, we're on Wendy's Amazon page, so we can see Wendy's book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Body, and we are going to go over to Draft to Digital, and we are going to upload her book. So let's do it live. Straight over to Draft to Digital. Wendy has, again, graciously allowed us to use her account, and she has given me her login already, which I can securely log into. Oh my goodness. There you go. Not a robot. And it's gonna think. But this is Draft to Digital. It's just DRAFT, the number 2, digital.com. No, no, no. All right. Here we are. We are in here and we are going to upload a book. So we're going to add new book. It is as easy as that. And they will ask you, do you have front cover art or do you not have front cover art? I do, because Wendy has an awesome cover that's bright and beautiful and colorful. So we're gonna go right in here. Look, I've got my Wendy cover. So we just upload that. Must be a JPEG. I think it's important. It says if you have a full print wraparound cover, do not upload it here. It's an ebook. They only want your front cover. So keep that in mind. Book title. This is why I like to keep my Amazon listing open, because I could type it, but I could have butterfingers, and I want to make sure that I don't mess anything on a Wendy's page up. While it's easy to edit, I prefer not to mess it up in the first place. So I'm going to copy and paste from her Amazon listing where I already know it's perfect. If you have a series, you can put your series in right there. Let's see. Right. Sorry, I was getting questions in. All right. Wendy is publishing, I believe, under Ivory Lane Press. Wendy, if I'm doing anything wrong, tell me in the chat. Fuss me out. All right. And the author, of course, is Wendy. So you put your publisher in here. You can add new publisher if she was going under a different imprint, something like that. You always want to put your publisher name when possible. The publisher name is something that you pick, you basically make up to publish your books under. Not usually recommended that you use any part of your name in there. Search terms. I happen to know that Wendy's book is about healthy eating, healthy mindset, so I'm going to put some search terms in here. She can add more terms in here later, but let's do weight loss. We can even do Weight Watchers. We can do mindset, healthy eating, healthy living. So you get the point where we're kind of doing some things that have to do with her book. And you can just put them right in there. You can do a bunch of them. So Wendy, you can add more later. And then we're going to look at the bisects. Bisects are your categories. Terry, this is why we keep you around. But you know what? I'm going to put mindset as one word and two words, because there are people like me who are super special who will search it as two. So now I've just created two great keywords, which is a great lesson. Sometimes your keywords are purposely misspelled. That's not what I did. I just misspelled it. But sometimes they're purposely misspelled because it's a common misspelling. So keep that in mind when you're looking at keywords. Those get missed a lot. I usually aim for about 10 search terms when I'm doing this. I don't think they give you, Amazon accepts the first 5, but we're not using this for Amazon because we're using directly to KDP. And then keywords by priority. Doesn't give you a set number that you have to stop at. I do about 10. All right, back to bisects. So we want to do body, mind, and spirit. Let's see what we can find under here. Is there something about health? Let's see, healing. I think I might have gone more spiritual than I meant to, but you know what we can do? Let's try weight. And you can kind of go in here. Hey, look at that. When I did weight, it filtered out the different things that we need. So health and fitness, diet and nutrition. Hey, weight loss, that's a good one. Again, these can be changed later. So if we have our friend Wendy over in the corner cringing at what I'm choosing, she can change that later. Always good to know. And cooking, let's see, healthy, health and healing, weight control. Let's put that in there. So you find two, usually 2 bisect is pretty common. I believe you're allowed up to 3. And you choose them and you start your ebook. All right, then we have upload book file. You can use a Word document and they will create your ebook. You do not have control of that ebook. So if you have a lot of charts, graphs, anything like that, I highly recommend you go to an ebook formatter and you get them to do it. Then you have more control. You have someone else actually putting your ebook together more carefully instead of an auto set. So the free option for auto set, it's free, so there's value in that. And if you have a novel, especially, it may work. But if you want more control about making sure your ebook matches your print book, go get a formatter. I happen to have right here Wendy's EPUB. So important to note, this is an EPUB. The Mobi file is only for Amazon. So I'm going to just click and upload. So far, this is pretty darn easy. You're following through the boxes. You're just clicking the buttons, which again, it's easy. And I like easy. So does Draft Digital, which is why they've made their platform super easy. So this is going to do this, and it's going to think for a minute. In the meantime, I have copied Wendy's description so that it was handy. Look at that. Now what it didn't do is it did not format it, but this is just like a Word document. It's really not hard. So as like a Word document, I can kind of go in and say, all right, I would like this first part bold. Easy enough. I can do that. All right, I would like these questions set with bullet points. Again, super easy. And let's see, what else do we want to do to this? All right, I want to create a little space here. I would like to make sure that we get this italicized. And again, this can be edited later. Excuse me. Let's highlight this. Whoops. All right, so when this happens, we failed our EPUB check. This means that whatever's going on with this EPUB, it's not working for us. So that means we need to go back and have our ebook file redone and check to make sure that there's any problems. Oh, no. The document you've submitted failed EPUB check and has automatically repaired. If you proceed, please note that your file will be modified. So we'll check it. There's a previewer so we can check it. Not a problem. And I do have to say that when we have used their tools that automatically correct things, they have definitely done a great job. So, all right. Let's see. I think I've got most of my description that I want highlighted. But again, it's very much like a Word document. Now, for anyone who needs to leave, I know it's 11 o'clock. We are going to go ahead and finish through Wendy's book setup. But if you need to leave, guys, replay on YouTube. You can visit youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. We put our replays up on Mondays. And we also post them to freeadvicefridays.com. So if you need to leave, you can catch up later if you want to. Thank you for joining us on your Friday. And so I'm going to make sure I get this in italics. Nothing too hard. Just kind of go through. I like that this is a lot like a Word document, so you're not doing any HTML, which makes life so much easier, which is great. All right, I think we've gotten all the italics we need to. So, all right, we're good here. You can add a paid collaborator. This is super cool. You can add another person so that you have a paid collaborator and they will actually split fees and things like that. You don't need to do that. I want to use my own ebook ISBN. So this is important, is that you want to go ahead and pull your own ebook ISBN. And I am realizing, Wendy, that I don't have your ebook ISBN. Let me make sure it's not on your file. But if you're still here, Wendy, if you could drop it in the chat, the chat or the Q&A, that would be great. We thought we were so prepared. All right. And in the meantime, I'm going on the first page, ask for a volume number. Yes, you can ignore that, Nancy. If for some reason you do, maybe there's not a volume, maybe it's just one book ever, one book, no series. You don't have to do a volume number. Isn't it a beautiful cover, Linda? I love those colors. All right, let's see. Wendy's gonna go grab her ISBN and I will answer questions. All right, when submitting to Ingram Spark or Draft to Digital, what format must I use? You need a Word doc. If you are submitting through that way, you need a Word doc. The blue Find Reviewers button. All my tools. This, and I will get you guys a button to this. This is for the publishing tools through Apex Authors, which is Jay Boyer. I love these tools. You can find reviews. There's a category thing that you can do. They have, as far as software goes, software can make publishing and marketing so much easier for some things, like finding your categories, sometimes finding reviewers and different things like that. And Jay's software is amazing. I highly recommend it. And that link, where is that link? We're all over today. I love that you guys are just joining me for the ride, even though we're super unorganized here. But I do have that link that I can get you guys for the Apex tools, which again, I can't recommend highly enough. Love Jay and his crew. I do webinars for them a lot. Let's see, Publisher Rocket. Here we go. Let me pull, oh my goodness. I'm struggling hardcore. All right. Yes, I know. All right, let me drop this in the chat. Covered up my chat. There we go. And Wendy is back with her ISBN. Perfect. That is not what I wanted to copy and paste. Oh my, oh my. All right, let me. There we go. All right. That is to the suite of tools through Publisher Rocket, which is Jay Boyer. So if you want to check those out, super awesome set of tools. I love them. All right. Back here, and this is often what happens when you're uploading a book, you guys. You realize, oh hey, I didn't have this and I thought I did, or I needed this and I didn't have it yet. That's okay. It's okay if you don't have everything all at once. You can keep it up, or you can save and come back to it later. This happens to even me. All right, so now we're going to save and continue. And here we go. So this is where we can kind of see, and this gives us a heading of what should be in the book. We are looking to see if this looks right. This does look right. Chapters are in order. It's got endnotes. It's got about the author. This all looks right from what I know of Wendy's book. All right. So we're gonna scroll on down. Yep, this looks right to me. Let's save and continue. And it's thinking again. All right, download your book preview. You can download your Mobi to review. You can download an EPUB for review. So you can download it and actually see your book as a preview for review, and pull it up. Now, you can see it'll pull up in Adobe for an EPUB. There is a Kindle Previewer, which is like a tool you can download from Amazon to review the EPUB. And that opens up like a Kindle app on your computer. And let's see, I realize you guys probably cannot see that. So give me a second to share a new screen. Here we go. Let me show you my Kindle Previewer. You should now be able to see my Kindle. And this is what the book looks like inside on Kindle, which is great. It looks beautiful. And I can see that, yep, it looks about normal. Now keep in mind with ebooks, if it's not fixed format, if it's flowing, which is what most books are, especially if they have a lot of writing. It is a super double episode. You guys are just going to have to talk to me all day. What you can see is that here, some things may not line up perfectly. Some things may kind of go over on a page, but keep in mind that this will change depending on what the reader sets their device at. If they set their device at, maybe I really need open dyslexic. I have a lot of family, I won't say a lot of family, I have several family members that are dyslexic. So maybe they are pulling and purposely getting a font that's easier for them to read. Maybe I need it to be really big. It is going to change what shows up on the page. So when you're looking at this, I know it's really easy to be like, well, it's not perfectly on the page, or it went over to the other page. It's really important to keep in mind with your ebooks especially that this will change depending on the e-reader settings. So we want to make sure that it looks great. We want to make sure that, you know, it's easy to read and it's beautiful, but we can't control everything. So I'm going to say, yep, that ebook looks great, and I think that we can go ahead and do it. So we're going to go back and share our screen on Draft to Digital. All right, I've reviewed the manuscript. I think it looks good. Let's save and continue. And again, thinking. All right, digital book price. We're going to list it at $6.99, which is the same as it is on Amazon. And then we have to pick the digital stores that we want it to be in. If you click this button, it chooses everything. But I can say, I don't want Barnes & Noble and Apple and Viblio. If for some reason you don't, I do though. I want the book to be in all those places. And more importantly, Wendy wants the book to be in all those places. So I'm going to say yes, I want them to distribute to those places. I do not want Amazon. This book is already up on Amazon through KDP. Subscription services. Scribd is a subscription service that you can put your book into. You still make royalties. I recommend it. As long as you're not in Kindle Unlimited and Kindle Select, you can do that. So we're going to say yes. Same thing, Kobo Plus. Do we want the book to be in Kobo Plus? Yeah, we do, because it's another opportunity. Now, this is where people run into questions. When we get to the library portion of the upload, your library price is typically going to be double to triple your price. And the way that most libraries are running now is on a cost per checkout model. So let's talk about that. That means that every time the book is checked out, the library will pay that fee. So on the cost per checkout model, that means that when they're doing that, they can rent out this book as many times as they want to, and the author at this price will get 65 cents per copy checked out through a library. Keep in mind, this is library only. Or it can be one copy, one user, which means the library has to outright buy a copy, and the author will immediately get $6.54, but it's only one copy and only one user can check it out at a time, which is fine, but it's more of a risk for the library because they have to pay the cost up front. And also with cost per checkout model, what's great about it is if your book goes viral and people want to check it out like crazy, they can check it out like crazy, and you can make a lot more money because more than one person can check it out at once. So cost per checkout is where things are slowly moving. I think it's a great thing. Less risk for the librarian, less money up front for them, and lots of opportunity for you. But back to pricing. Double the price is very common, and most of the time I say that Draft to Digital suggested price is spot on. In this case, I couldn't agree more. I think $13.99 is the perfect price. So we're going to keep that here, and then we say where we want the book to be available. All of them. Go with all of them. We want Overdrive. That's where a lot of librarians are buying their books, especially now. Bibliotheca, Baker and Taylor, Hoopla, yes, yes, and yes. We want our book in all of these library services. So we're going to say yes. So we've chosen pretty much everything except for Amazon, and we're going to submit. Now we have to confirm. I am the original creator of this content. I am not, but Wendy is, so I'm going to say yes. And I confirm that I have all the rights necessary to make the content, cover image, blah, 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 saying that, yes, this book is legit. I haven't stolen anything, and I do have rights to put it out into the world. Again, I am doing this for Wendy, and I know that she has the rights. I've talked to her extensively, so we're okay to go. Yeah, if your book is in Kindle Unlimited, you cannot do this at all. Kindle Unlimited means, and Kindle Select means that your book is exclusively available at Amazon on KDP. You can't do this at all if you are on Kindle Select. So this is for the people going wide. And I'm going to hit submit. And it's going to think. And look, success. Yay! We can also do an audio book through Findaway Voices, so that's good to know. Findaway Voices is the sister company to Draft to Digital. So now when I go into Draft to Digital, I can see we've got our book here. We have its publishing. Once it is available, it will start giving me links to all of the places, iBooks, Kobo, all the places that the book is available so that I can then brag about it. And it tells us right here. So it's publishing now. It'll say published once it's out on Barnes & Noble, Apple, etc. And when you click on these buttons, once it says published, it will take you directly to that website with your book link. And yes, there is also a universal book link. That's a UBL, universal book link. What's great about this is it's one link, and if we click on it, it will take us, I think mine's set, okay, so it's not up yet, but a universal book link takes you to this page that has the logos for each of the places your book is available, and people can just pick whatever they want and go to that place. If I'm an iBooks reader, I can click there. If I'm Barnes & Noble, I can click there. So it gives you so many opportunities to just go on and give people one link, and they can go buy anywhere they want except for Amazon. Because we didn't choose Amazon, your link will not be on here, but you can say, hey, here's my link to Amazon if you want the ebook there, or go check it out at any other retailer through this link. So it's a handy thing to have. That, my friends, is how we upload the book and jump to a step in order to edit. If absolutely you just do not want to go through all of this, but Wendy's sitting here going, oh my gosh, she messed up. My BISAC is all wrong. That's okay, because she can jump to it and then she can just update and change and push it through. Super easy, super user-friendly. And Caroline is saying you can add the Amazon link to the UBL and Draft to Digital. Super cool to know. I didn't know that, so we'll have to explore that more. All right, you guys. Well, I have taken up so much of your time today. I love it. I'm like, yeah, you guys gave me an hour. I'm just going to talk longer. We've gone through Draft to Digital and how to set up a book. It is easy. Don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid of messing up, because you saw not only is it really easy to do, but it's really easy to edit. So if you mess something up, if you kind of didn't do what you wanted to do, you can edit it. You need your cover file, you need your ebook file or a Word document that can be auto-converted by Draft to Digital, and you need your ISBN, your price, and your description. The rest you can kind of do as you go along. You may have to stop and find things, but totally doable, you guys. So don't be afraid to get out there, get your books up. I find that Draft to Digital is the easiest ebook distributor to use outside of KDP for wide distribution. So again, I highly recommend them. Again, I've taken up so much of your time today. But if you guys have more questions, send them in for next week. It's questions@freeadvicefridays.com. You can always send in emails, get in our Facebook group and ask questions there. And until then, we will see you next week, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us. Have a beautiful weekend, you guys, and we'll see you next week.